most important aspect of her career, and Michelle feels that while she is good on a basic level, to excel she must practice. Giving her speech, Flight Delay, Talk Away, Michelle Attia.
How many of you have conversations ever? Communication comes in many different forms. One of the forms of communication is email. With email, we have truly denigrated our ability to have conversations with individuals. That's just the way of today's world. But when we stop and think about it, how important are the conversations that we have? Each and every one of us can grow ourselves professionally, personally, faith, in every aspect of our lives by being able to have good, strong conversations with individuals. Oftentimes, we try to start conversations using something called small talk. Small talk is when you gather basic information and talk about things that are on a global scale, mutually agreeable topics, such as the weather, maybe the stock market, maybe politics can sometimes be used. You don't want to go too far into that, but politics can sometimes be in it. Different little subjects, and that's why we call it small talk. It's little things. How are you doing today? What about this drought? I'm so glad it's raining. These are the catalysts to begin a conversation. When you start with small talk, you want to try to gather a little bit more information. Typically, when you start with a small talk and you say, how are you today? If you get an answer like that, you can probe into it. Additionally, when you say, how are you today? I'm doing great! You can probe into that. Either one of those allows you to have a catalyst into the next level of conversation, which is fact disclosure. So when you get the answer, well, what's going on? How's things going? What's got you down today? These types of probing questions help us to move from the small talk, which is what we do in the grocery store line with anybody any day, into the next level of that conversation of fact disclosure. With the fact disclosure, when you start to pull information from an individual, now you have something that you can move forward and try to carry that on from a casual acquaintance or a casual conversation into something that may be more substantial and long-lasting. When you start with your fact disclosure and move that casual conversation, small talk, into something a little bit deeper, now you're able to gather information that can be the groundwork of the next level and create a long-term relationship. If you're trying to find a job, and when you shake hands with the person that you're interviewing with, and you say, how are you today? And their answer seems a little blah, you can change their mood just by recognizing that. And you can even get a job that way. After you've gone into the fact disclosure, you want to take that information that you've gathered during the fact disclosure and move into gathering even more. You want to try to get to know the person on a personal level. So facts are facts, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about them. While some people view opinions as facts, they're not. Opinions are different. And that's the next level of the conversation. When you're ready to start getting to know someone on a personal level and getting to be able to have a conversation next time with that individual, that is when you're in the section of viewpoints and opinions. So at this point, now you've maybe said, how are you? And you got the and you hear, well, what's going on? How can I help you? Traffic was just terrible today. I am not a fan of traffic. Now you have somebody who's giving you a fact. Traffic was terrible. And an opinion. I'm not a fan of traffic. Now, most of us are not a fan of traffic, but that can catalyst your conversation at the next level. What happened? Do you know, which way do you come in? You know, I have an idea for you. Maybe you can go around this other way. Now you can begin to build a relationship with a person. Now these are just very small topics that we're talking about here. It's not enough time really to go into full in-depth conversations, but I can tell you that in my career in talent acquisitions, I start with small talk in every one of my candidates. I move into facts. Most candidates want to stay at facts. But the truth is, I can read your facts on your resume. So I really want to move that conversation into the viewpoints. Finally is personal feelings. That is not appropriate when I'm recruiting. However, personal feelings allows you to really get to know an individual on a different level. That's where you begin to move into the friendship level. Today, I will be enacting a role play. My partner is Paul Detlaf, and we have been at the airport delayed by 3 hours. We've never met each other before. Let's see how this works out. I'm gonna move these up. Hours? All right, so I'm gonna wait here. Hey there.
Hey.
What you doing?
Killing time. 3 hours.
Oh, you're on that same flight?
Yeah. My wife had this great hedonistic weekend planned. I gotta wait 3 hours to get started.
I know. I have a convention that I'm going to.
Convention? What kind of convention?
I work for a talent acquisition group and with medical, so we're going to an addiction specialist convention. Hopefully I'll meet some great addiction specialists.
Not here. Not me.
So what are your plans for the weekend?
Well, it's a surprise by my wife. And all I know is that usually when we get together and we have surprises for each other, we have a lot of fun. A lot more fun than being here waited for my United flights.
How long have you been married?
It'll be 15 years this September.
Wow, 15 years. That's amazing. How'd you meet?
I was buying, she was selling.
What exactly was she selling?
She was selling. She was selling websites, and our company happened to be one, so I bought one. Speechless, huh?
So you bought a website from her? Your company did?
We did. Well, this is like 20 questions, right?
Just killing time.
Well,
What do you do?
Now, how about yourself? You've been asking all about me. How about yourself?
Like I said, I'm just going to this convention in Cincinnati for addiction specialists. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll meet a lot of great people in the industry.
Any particular type of addiction?
Yes, heroin and opiate addictions.
No experience in that. Can't help you there.
Probably not the addiction you want. I mean, do you want any addiction?
Addicted to love.
I guess that's the best kind of addiction you can have.
I'm trying to get my wife addicted and I'm her fix, you know.
I think after 15 years, that's probably true.
Pretty much. Are you married?
I am not.
It's too bad. It's a lot of fun.
Being married is a lot of fun.
Well,
I guess
at
that
least it was
depends
for
on
me.
who it is.
Well, that's true. This isn't my first marriage, so yeah. You're right.
So what do you do for a living?
I'm an arms dealer.
An arms dealer. Nice. You should probably come to the addictions conference with me. I'm sure a few people will buy from you.
I don't know if I want to sell them anything. It's not my typical clients. No. I work for a company that manufactures weapons for the military and law enforcement.
to know the shady stuff.
Well, you know, some of those guys are kind of shady. But no, none of the shady stuff. We are 100% legit. We like helping produce a product that, in my mind, help to keep our servicemen alive.
It's one of those heartwarming type of jobs, huh?
Well, it can be.
Yeah.
If you're the enemy, you don't like me very much.
Well, that's the enemy, right?
Yeah. But it says we're supposed to love our enemies. What does that mean?
Love them with the long end of a rifle.
I love you so much, I'll kill you with one shot instead of two. I don't know.
Well, it's great talking to you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure to meet you as well.
Safe travels.
Thank you. At this point, we're going to have an informal discussion. I'd like each of you to take an opportunity, or any of you who feels like it, to tell me what you thought of the conversation that just happened. What could have been better? What was really good? Any thoughts? Yes, sir.
You know, I was listening to your conversation, and I really liked the way you broke the ice. But in the conversation, you were asking him so many questions. But when he asked you a question, you just shut it down.
Yeah.
I will admit, that is the talent acquisitions person in me. No. We're going to talk about you, not me. I do struggle sometimes to do that because I've been in 11 years in talent acquisition. So you're correct. I tend to quickly move around.
It was harsh, especially when he told you he was married, been in love, he was selling, she was buying, he was, getting intimate with it, and he asked you, were you married? No. I mean, like, not involved in a relationship? No. I'm going no further.
Thank you. Any other thoughts?
No, she don't want to tell me.
Yes.
I just want to say I thought you did a really good job, especially because this came off a little bit like the two of you sitting in an airport with the rest of the airport watching you and laughing at your conversation, which I'm sure was a little distracting and very different than what happened in real life. The laughter seemed to throw you a little bit and make it harder for you to connect the dots, but I was really impressed with the fact that you were able to keep asking questions and having a back and forth in a very extemporaneous way. It was clear you didn't plan all of that ahead of time, and I thought it looked very natural.
We did not plan it ahead of time. It specifically said in the book not to. So the only information that he was given is that we were at an airport with a 3-hour delay. And that's the only information either of us had prior to this conversation.
And now we know what Paul will do with the 3 hours.
Any other thoughts or questions? We've still got like another minute, so we'll just stand here in silence. Yes, Scott?
Was it a conversation, or were you trying to pick Paul up?
She did start with David.
Yeah. How you doing?
It was a conversation. I was completely bored.
Before or after you met Paul?
That's hard. Thank you. I saw your hand go up, so
Yeah, so what I would think is, like he was saying, it was like 20 questions, and Paul said that too, is different situations call for different types of conversations. And so, perhaps the conversation you had wasn't really that appropriate for that setting, because it should have been more two-way, should have been more dialogue.
More give and take.
Whereas when you interview someone, it's like boom, 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 but if you just meet someone, it's like, more
Okay.
back and forth.
Thank you for the feedback. Yes.
What made you select the questions that you asked? You seem like you were determined to stay on a specific script of questions.
Like I said, my goal in picking this manual is because I'm in talent acquisitions. And to be honest, I'm on all the time. It doesn't matter if I'm at the grocery store, I always, what do you do for a living? You never know when you might meet the next lead or candidate. That's all the time that we have, so thank you so much.